Welcome back. So I thought I'd give you a quick update on what's going on with my rear fairings and the body kit that I bought for the bike. You can see the tank is on, and the back end of the bike now, the rear bits are all in place. So I did purchase a fairing attachment kit. This is the kit that it doesn't come with it, but you got to buy one either in silver or in black. I went with black. And that includes all the little fasteners that go in that hold the kit together. Aside from that, 2 days of drying out in the sun before putting it on the bike so that it's nice and hard. It's just 2 coats of Krylon, no top coat, no clear, just because if I get any damage I just want to be able to do an easy quick touch up without having to sand down the clear and go through all of that again. So not really difficult to put the back end on. I had all the you can see over there that's the top portion, or the under tray actually, that's the underside. I took, I just copied the old and put the new on in exactly the same way, and it was very standard. All the holes lined up absolutely perfectly. As far as tricks to get it in place, you will have to strip down the back completely all the way to the wiring for the rear light, drop the rear light, tail light. I took this off. Once the old fairings are off, I removed this. I also removed this bracket. There's 4 Allen head bolts that hold this steel black bracket in place. And what that did allowed me to disconnect the cable for the rear lock, which is right here. So there's a cable mechanism in there that has to be disconnected. And the only way you're going to do that is with this bar off and with this off. So when you put the fairings back on, you've got to put the cable in place, the lock in place, the cable in place, and then that back, and then that back, in that order. What else can I tell you? There's 4 bolts underneath the power commander here, underneath the plastic tray that hold the license plate in place. That's a pain in the ass to hold those in place while you tighten it up from underneath. If you have an extra person or an extra pair of hands, that will make it a lot easier for you. Without having to take out the ECU and all of the wiring box here, you can just get a little pair of hands in there with a spanner and hold those nuts down, or the bolts down rather, while you put the nuts in underneath. So yeah, there you go. So the back's in place now, and that's all tight and on. I have removed the rear foot pegs because I never plan to take a passenger on the back of this bike, and the rear seat cowl is for a single race seat only. So there's nowhere for passengers to sit. So what's the point of having metal pegs sticking out the side? They do serve as a little bit of crash protection, when they are in place. These are the pegs bolting up underneath here like so. When they're on the bike, they will give you a little bit of crash protection to the rear, but not a lot. And I think the bike looks better without them. So those came off. And the only thing about the kit that I was surprised was there is no rear cowl. So you have to reuse what you've got, if that makes sense. So on this bike, I have a rear cowl that looks like that with a single rubber seat that goes in here. There is nothing. Now I don't know if it's supposed to have one in the kit, but my kit does not have a rear cowl, so I'm having to reuse my old one. I'm going to sand this down. I've already started doing the body work on it, filled a few pinholes. So this is going to get painted tonight, dry for a couple of days, and then that will go back in place. So I'm just reusing the old to fill this gap. And I know there are a bunch of options for rear cowls. You can get the hump cover, you can get the single seat, you can get a rear passenger seat. So whatever you've got, that's the point of using. Anyway, so there you go. Just wanted to show you progress. My R6 has the front fairing has been removed, and been working on it, giving me a chance to get this whole area really well cleaned up and armor oiled and check all the wiring. Not exactly fun, but we're getting there. So there are a couple of things I found. There are 4 mounting brackets, 1, 2, 3, 4. And those go to the inside of the headlight housing. So I am going to head over to the headlight housing and show you what I've been working on. So here's the new fairings painted and installed. Here's the old you know, the fairing kit, attachment kit, comes with all new nuts and bolts and connectors, but I just ended up reusing the little metal clips that go on the tabs here and sit in the recessed ones that sit inside the square holes. They clip on the outside, so I reused them, cleaned them up. Other than that, you're just going to strip these off. Just be careful pulling them off, or rather, don't worry about pulling the old ones off unless you're going to resell them on eBay. And when it comes to putting your new one together, take care and be careful, be careful, be careful. I can't stress that enough. Slow down. Strip everything off. It should come apart pretty easily. Undo all the screws. Make yourself a map. Put the screws down on a piece of paper and write where they come from. Top left, top right, center, middle, whatever. Or take some photographs on your phone. That will help enormously. So those 4 tabs I was talking about on the bike mount here, here, where's the other one? Here and here. So these are the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 of mine were broken on this, and I was really pissed when I found that the plastic parts here had snapped off here and were broken. So what do? Do I buy a whole new headlight housing, or do I try and repair? So I actually do have a very, very awesome plastic welding gun. Here it is, the plastic welding gun. I'll show you that very quickly. Now, if you've never done any plastic welding, just watch some videos. I picked this up off of Amazon. This is the welding gun. It comes with 400 of these little wire things. You stick it between the ends here, plug it in, squeeze the trigger for a few seconds, and these things get red hot, and you embed them in the plastic. It really is as simple as that, and it takes a matter of seconds to do plastic weld repairs. So what I found, and if you look carefully here, you will be able to see there are 2 welded metal squiggly bits put into the plastic here. So I super glued them in place first, let them dry. Here's another one here. You can see the welded tabs with the metal pieces put in, and another one here. So 2 each on each of these that were broken off, super glued, and then plastic welded with metal supports in place. And these things are now probably stronger than the original plastic. I've got absolutely no concerns about putting this back on the bike, putting my screws in and tightening this up to the fairing. If they break again, then I'm going to have to buy a whole new piece and put it on, but I'm confident that this repair, and this is exactly why you use a plastic welding gun to do these kind of tricky repairs on plastic. There you go. I think you can see that quite clearly here where it's gone into place. Now this is going to be invisible on the bike. You're not going to see any of this. It's going to be covered by the gauges and the rest of the fairing, so it's an invisible repair. I'll know it's there. Anybody watching this video will know it's there, obviously, but I'm actually quite proud of this repair, so as far as I can tell, we are good to go. Clean this all up with Armor All, reuse the screws, nuts and bolts, put all of the little metal bracket tabs in before assembling and screwing it all together, and the whole thing came out pretty nicely. So my biggest concern is freshly painted. You know, you've got to have a nice soft pad to put everything down on, very clean. You don't want to get dust and dirt and hair or in your paint. But as you can see, here's my new front headlights about to go on. Well, the old headlights, new plastic. I reused the rubber grommets from the old one, just took them out, cleaned them up, popped them back in, and this will accept the new windshield, which I have. So it's time to put it back on the bike now, and then line it up, plug in my headlights, make sure all the wiring is tight and fixed to the inside, and then screw it all back together. Alright, so that's it on. 4 screws. Just as I said, slot straight in, and so these are the mounting brackets that I'm talking about right here. They protrude through, and those are the screws that go through. So here and on the opposite side, those are the 2 on this side, and there's 2 on the other side. That's what holds it to the frame of the bike. So there should be some rubber cushion padding in there to absorb any vibration so the front doesn't wobble around. Otherwise it's just connecting up your wiring, your headlights, and a little relay here that slots on the side. That's got to go into place on both sides, and then use a cable tie, and there's a screw that fastens with a cable tie to right here. So aside from that, the front is now on. I just have the windshield to put on using the 4 screws here. Side fairings are next, and then the front fender. It is so exciting getting there.